something I never sell. It's going to be with me till I die. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I've got something a little bit different from what I normally do. Today is all about Golden Age comic books. So Golden Age is by far my favorite era. There's so much nostalgia and history. The way Golden Age comic books work is when comic books were being first put out, in the mid-30s, late 30s, they were just paper. What ended up happening in history, World War II happened, and, America had this whole huge movement of recycling every good that they have, like, metal, aluminum, paper, everything they did. Well, a comic book is rightfully made out of paper. So at that point in time in history, they were just paper. Like, there was no significance to them. People didn't necessarily care about a first appearance of a character or anything like that, because everyone's attention and focus, rightfully so, was on the war and the war effort and trying to help. Horror comics were very popular, and there was a lot of parents that had issues with comic books because of the suggestive themes that were being presented to their children. So then comic books got burned left and right. There's no telling what all got burned and what all got destroyed when that movement happened. So you fast forward to today, where we've gone through that World War II movement, and you've gone through the book burning movement. So now we're in a golden age of media, where we're getting movies, we're getting TV shows, we're getting all these characters that are continuously being produced into video games, television, everything. We're in society now to where if you're a comic book fan, odds are you know who every one of these people are in the stack of comic books. So now we have a boom of financial wealth where people are more into comic books than ever. Prices are absolutely ridiculous. And people are wanting first appearances of these characters. Well, now you got to go through different eras, because if you want a first Scarecrow, his Golden Age appearance is incredibly rare. It's incredibly expensive. And then you look at Silver Age. His first appearance is a fraction of the price compared to what the Golden Age is. He's on the cover. It's affordable. So that most of the time, that's what you're going to go with. But depending on what type of collector you are, that's not his first appearance. And it's going to bother you. So if you can afford it, you're eventually going to want to go after that true first appearance. So that's enough jibber-jabbering about the history of the Golden Age comic books, why it's important. So let's get to what this video is actually about, which is going to be my Golden Age collection. Tales to Astonish 13. This is the first appearance of Groot. It came out in November of 1960. This book, for Marvel collectors, it's had its spike. It's calmed down a little bit. But if you love Guardians of the Galaxy as much as I do, you're going to want this book. Second book. This is going to be Flash 106. This came out in April to May of 1959. My copy in particular has a lot of staining to the cover. It has staining to the back. I got a super good deal on this. It's complete. It's a 1.0. I'm cool with it. This is the first appearance of Gorilla Grodd as well as the Pied Piper. I got this book strictly for the first appearance of Gorilla Grodd. Next up, this is one of the big boys. We have World's Finest Comics number 3. Came out in fall of 1941. My copy is at a 3.0, and this is the first appearance of Scarecrow. It has a side little title of Sandman Begins in title, Last Johnny Thunder in title. This cover is American nostalgia at its finest. This was actually my first Golden Age book to ever have in this collection, and it's probably one of the best ones I have. This is Detective Comics number 40. It came out of June of 1940. and this is the origin, first appearance of Clayface. But more importantly, this is the first cameo cover appearance of the Joker. This is a 4/5. It's also a signature edition. It's been signed by Jerry Robinson, who is one of the featured cover artists on this book. There are some days I can't believe I have this book, but I'm glad I have it, and it'll be something I never sell. It's going to be with me till I die. Okay, so now we're getting more into the entry level of Golden Age, where if you want to get some Golden Age books, these are about to be the more affordable ones. They're still expensive for what they are, but you can get your foot in the door and start a Golden Age collection with these books. So I've got Detective Comics 184. This is the first appearance of Firefly. There are 2 first appearances of Firefly where it's different people playing the same role, but this is considered the first true honest appearance of Firefly. This one is a 1/0 and it came out of June of 1952. Alright guys, so next up we're going to have Detective Comics 259. This is the first appearance of Calendar Man. This book is still relatively cheap. I want to say there's a copy on mycomicshop.com right now for less than $150 at a better grade than what I have. This book is really relatively minor, especially when it comes to Batman, but the villain is popular because of The Long Halloween. So if you're a fan of The Long Halloween, you definitely want to look into this, especially for what the price is. Next up, we have Batman number 59. This came out in June, July of 1950, and this is the first appearance of Deadshot, also known as Floyd Lawton, Batman in the future cover and story, and Joker from the future appearance. So with this copy in particular, the cover is detached and the first wrap is missing. That affects story and it makes it incomplete, but it's a blue label. Next up, we have Batman number 63. This book came out in February of 1951, and this is the first appearance, the origin and the first appearance of Killer Moth. This book took me forever to find. I want to say I spent probably 18 months trying to find a copy of this book, because whenever it would get listed on eBay, most of the time I would buy it now and it would go up instantly. So eventually I had to wait and find an auction, and as soon as I did as much as I could because I had to have this book with my stash. Next book, I spent probably close to 4 years trying to find an affordable copy, and I finally did just this year of 2021. It's not complete, but it's complete enough for me, and it's Wonder Woman number 6. This one in particular has page 14 missing. It affects the story. The spine of the cover has been completely split, and the cover is detached, pages 1 through 3 detached. This is considered incomplete, so it's a 0.5 with brittle pages. But this is the first appearance of the cheetah. Now this book is super expensive. It's really hard to find. Like, again, I spent years trying to find this because this book came out in fall of 1943. I'm pretty sure the only reason I was able to land this book this year was because the Wonder Woman 84 movie flopped. If you haven't seen that movie, don't. It's only about 30 minutes good. One of the best parts of it is in fact the cheetah, and it is not this cheetah that's being portrayed in that film. Too entirely long. In fact, here's a link to where I unboxed this book. But we have Superman number 30. This is the origin and first appearance of Mr. Mistopik. I can say it now. So this book came out in September, October of 1944. It has this yellow cover, so high grades of it are pretty scarce to get to begin with. Mine's a 2.0, off-white pages. It has a bunch of issues with it, but it's complete, and I'm perfectly fine with it. This one you can get for under $700. Maybe not this particular grade, but this book in general can be got for under $700, and it's something to consider because a lot of people label Mr. Mistopik as Superman's number 2 villain. So this book has 2 first appearances in it. This is Batman issue number 49. It came out in November of 1948, and this has the first appearance of the reporter Vicky Vale, also from the Keaton Batman 1989 movie, as well as the Mad Hatter. So here we have, more importantly, we have the first appearance of the Mad Hatter with a great classic Joker cover. This next book is a book that I spent years trying to find. So here we have Detective Comics 140. It came out in October of 1948, and this is the origin and the first appearance of the Riddler. Now, another thing that makes this book great is he's on the cover. Not too many Golden Age books have the origin, first appearance, and on cover, so this is a great Golden Age book. It's also one of the more expensive ones because of that. We have one of my favorite comic book covers of all time. Low grade is better than no grade, right? So here we have Action Comics 242. It came out in July of 1958. And this is the origin and first appearance of Brainiac, as well as the first appearance of Kandor. Don't care about Kandor, care about the Brainiac. He's on the cover, a beautiful purple cover of Superman trying to fight him, and I love this book. I love the cover of it. Next up, a great book for Batman fans. This is going to be Batman 121, the origin and first appearance of Mr. Zero, who later becomes Mr. Freeze. Mine's at a 2.0, complete white pages. Another book that I had raw and then I sent in to get graded. Eventually I'm going to go through a clean and press process of it just to try to improve the grade. The back of it has a ton of different wavy lines, and a little bit of slight staining. It could use a clean for certain, but I'm hoping that I can improve the grade of this book at least up to a 3. Another book that took years to track down is going to be Detective Comics 66. Came out in August of 1942, and this is the first appearance and the origin of Two-Face. At this point in time, he was known as Harvey Kent, and then later, I think it was like 2 or 3 years later, they had to go back and change his name to Harvey Dent, just because they didn't want that correlation with Superman. This is the only CBCS book that I have, and eventually it will be getting switched over to a CGC holder. Maybe not a fan favorite, but definitely a personal favorite. I've got Wonder Woman number 9. Came out in summer of 1944. This features the first appearance of Giganta. Now, Giganta was featured in the Super Friends cartoon, where she was an Amazonian villain based against Wonder Woman. Just to paraphrase, I've got an odd thing for a tall woman, and it's self-explanatory. So I had to have Giganta. Next book is a great example of how low grade is better than no grade, and we have Detective Comics 58. It came out in December of 1941, and this is the first appearance of the Penguin. With this one, it has a large piece out of the cover, piece out of page 1 and 32, slightly affected story, and cover detached. So where the Detective Comics label is ripped off, there's a whole history about that, where shops and newsstands could send the labels back and they get a refund. So this book is actually not supposed to be around. Another great Superman book, we have Action Comics 64. Came out in September of 1943, and this has the first appearance of the Toyman. Now, Toyman got popular because of the Super Friends show, where he had a Jester style costume that was yellow, black, and a little bit of red. This one is a different version. This character of Toyman is an older rendition versus the other ones. Kind of like Golden Age versus Silver Age. The more popular one is Silver Age versus this Golden, but you have him on the cover fighting Superman of a 1943 book. Couldn't be more happy. As we're working our way down this list, I'm seeing that the artists really love the color yellow, because there is a ton of Golden Age books with yellow covers. And for you guys, we have Superboy number 68. This one came out a little bit later than the rest. This came out in October of 1958, and this has the origin and first appearance of Bizarro. There's some dispute going around between which is the first actual Bizarro, whether it be this one or the other one that comes up in Action Comics, but this is the one to get because this cover is freaking gangster. Also, probably the most important to me in my whole entire collection, it's the newest book that I got. I actually got this in the mail yesterday, and it's what inspired me to create this video for you, of Action Comics number 23. The first appearance of Lex Luthor, the first mention of Daily Planet, and the first appearance of the Black Pirate. I have no idea who the Black Pirate is, but I know the rest of it. It came out in April of 1940. Why it has a personal meaning for me is this date of April of 1940. The reason I started collecting comic books to begin with is I wanted to create legacy. I wanted to eventually have something really awesome to leave behind if I ever had children. So I started collecting pretty avidly. Now I've already built this collection that is going to get passed down to my kids. But what makes it more significant is I'm going to teach them the importance of value. With this Action Comics book of that date of April 1940, the month my son will turn 20, this book will turn 100 years old. And that's important to me. I'm hoping that I will still be here to see that, and I'm really enjoying the fact that I can potentially have comic books that are 100 years old. So for anyone who supported and lasted this long in the video, I deeply appreciate you. If you have any interest in Golden Age books, feel free to reach out to me and I will gladly talk to you about it all day long. If you think this video sucks because my books are low grade, I don't care. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed being able to showcase this collection. The world's absolutely nuts right now, so be careful. Thank you.